Do it. Do as much as you can. As frequently as possible, lie to your children. Hey fighters, Sean here with Know the Fight. This week we're still talking about dads. Something I really wanted to talk about was what being a parent is all about. Lying to your kids. That's right, you lie to your kids so that when they grow up, they figure out that everything you said, none of it was true. Being a dad is one of the hardest things you can do. Now, it's easy to become a dad, but it's hard being a dad. So, automatically, you have to know everything. You have to have all the answers. You have to be stable, structured. Everything that you have seen through your parents and your grandparents, you feel like you have to instantly become the moment you become a dad, which isn't true. To be honest, this is the one of the things that really stuck with me, because I started it off early in my son's life, is I lied to him. I lied to him all the time. I would say, no, everything's fine, when it wasn't. I would tell him about Santa Claus, not real. If this is the first time you just found out that Santa Claus isn't real, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to tell you. Just go through the list. Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, Groundhog actually is real. Sandman, Joe Biden, none of these things are really real, okay? We start off just lying to our kids, okay? Now I'm gonna take a different approach. I know it's not new, it's just different about talking about lying to your kids. If your kids can't look at their dad and say, he's gonna tell me the truth, then they're not even gonna bother asking you the questions. They're just gonna go to another source because they don't think that you're gonna be honest with them. Now, keep it age appropriate whenever they ask you questions. You don't want to just, decimate their reality. So early on, being a parent, I would just lie to my kids all the time, especially to Thomas. So we raised Thomas to believe in Santa Claus. And here's the thing. This was my argument to my bride when our daughters were born. So Thomas believes in Santa Claus. Not now. Lord, I did have the conversation with him, right? If I didn't, he's watching this. Sorry, dude. It's not real. And it's because of this notion in my mind that said that I want to keep magic real for him. I want to keep wonderment real because I was facing a very hard reality. I wanted to shield him from that, okay? Fast forward 6, 7, 8 years, and now Sasha and I have a daughter. A year and a half later, boom, another one. We had to address the white elephant issue in the room about Santa. I say, hey, life's tough. Let's go ahead and keep Santa real, and Tooth Fairy real, and Sandman real, and Easter Bunny, and all that stuff. Keep it real for them, just so that they can just believe in this wonderful imaginary world just for a little bit longer, kind of to retain their innocence. And she said, okay, fast forward 5, 6 years. And you explained to him, I know that we made Santa seem real, but he's really not. Just the magic of it all that's fake, we lied to him. Same thing, Easter Bunny and all that stuff. But don't worry, Jesus is still real. No, I know you can't really see him. I know he's actually real and he lived a long time ago too, but we lied to you about that other stuff, but this part, this is really real. When she hit me with that, I was like, you're absolutely right. Because you have to think long term. You have to think, okay, I might be able to save them this small amount of time to believe in magic, but ultimately as a parent, you're worried about their eternity. So really, where does that fall on? Now, I know that children can believe in Santa and that magic can be ruined or taken away from them, and they still believe in Jesus. Happened to me. I believed in Santa when I was growing up. I believe in Jesus now. I get it. But there still is that underlying tone of, could I really trust them to tell me the truth? Now, they might not ever bring it up. It might never be a real issue, but there's an underlying notion where they're like, okay, they lied to me before, they can lie to me again. And kids nowadays, man, there's no tricking them. They're on it. They can Google at the age of 4. As we were talking about it, then it kind of hit me is, why do I really want them to believe in this make-believe magic that is portrayed through these fake make-believe incorporated commercialized ideas, when I could just explain to them the Bible, and we can really talk about miracles and life-changing events, and watching how people like Cinderella, who are in a bad situation, gets elevated to a brand new situation because she met a prince, because she fell in love with a king. Why can't we talk about those things and make them see the magic in the Bible, which is the cornerstone of our life? Instead, we're borrowing stories from fables. So I kind of came up with these 3 things that I was pretty heavy on lying to him about, just so that either I didn't have to deal with it, or that I can spring it on him. So I can spring it on him. So, okay. And these could have been some serious trust issues with him. All right, so these are the 3 things that I lied to Thomas about pretty bad. Number 1, Santa Claus was just it was the gimme. You know, if we're going to lie to our kids, this is the lie that we get to tell. Number 2 is shots. Shots scare me today. And because they scare me, I made them scare Thomas. And so I would never tell him whenever he was going to get a shot. I would just say, hey, we're going to the doctor. Oh yeah, you won't have to get a shot. Then they pulled out that needle. He looked straight at me and said, you said they weren't going to give me a shot. And I looked at him, I didn't know. When full well, you know I knew, because they were scheduled shots. Number 3 is a really big one for me. Don't lie about who you were. You don't want to tell your kids, I was perfect growing up. You want to be real with them. You want to talk to them about your mistakes so that they don't make the same ones. Or if they do, they know that they can come back to you and talk to you about it and how you got through. Because the hardest thing for a kid to do is fill their parents' shoes, especially a father's.